Hello! Yes, we're back. It's Laura from Boomx Beauty Beat. Thanks for coming to hang out with me. I hope you guys are doing okay. It's September 1st and fall is underway. So I thought venture into a beautiful look, one of my favorite all-time looks, and that is the smoky eye and the red lip. And we're using my all-time favorite makeup line, which is MAC, and you guys know I'm going to be trying 15 new products in the upcoming 2 months, and I could have a new opinion. Okay, so I do have my base on already, just because otherwise the video would be super long, but I am wearing a full face of MAC minus the concealer under the eyes, because that concealer doesn't work for me. So I am using the Studio Fix. It does have an SPF of 15 and I'm an NC 20, and I'll put it all below later. And using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I do have some other concealers on the way, so that could be a change up later. And I'm using the MAC Studio Fix Foundation Powder in W22, and I love it until I find a new favorite. I also put on, as my contour, the Swiss Chocolate Matte Powder Blush, but it does double as a contour, and that's the color there. It's a really good neutral tone. And I know this looks bright, but if you put it on carefully and sparingly, I've got the Burnt Pepper Blush on today. And again, it's very pigmented, so you do have to watch, but it is doable. I've got this lip liner that I wanted to show you with a neutral tone because it works with almost any lipstick, and the color that I've got it in is called Soar, and it's nice and neutral from MAC. And I didn't pull the lipstick I'm wearing. I'm wearing just a, you know, kind of a soft neutral lipstick, but it is MAC as well, but that's not what we're ending off with. I just have it on because I get dry lips. Okay. So I did fill in my brows a little bit using eyeshadow and water from this palette and an angle brush just to you know, kind of speed things up. You can use a small one. I do kind of a combination small and medium brush to kind of get the detail work done, and I use these two colors here. And this little matte palette, this is the little MAC palette we're going to use today. It's Dusty Rose times 9. It's a little mini 9 eyeshadow palette. I'm telling you guys, just something as simple as this can get you 90% of your makeup done. This is called Constructionist, and because we're doing a smoky look, I just wanted to explain when we're putting it on. Putting a primer down or a moist product when you're doing a smoky lip look helps the eyeshadow to stick onto it, and it helps create depth. So you would really enjoy this. It also can just wear as it's on its own as an eyeshadow, and I think I used it once as an eyeshadow on my initial video. Whatever I'm doing here today, you can just adjust it with intensity levels, and that'll work fine. I really want to stick to more of a matte look today. I know I've been using a lot of shimmer, but I do often wear a lot of matte. This Constructionist, it does have a little bit of shimmer to it, but it's going to be covered over with shadow, so you won't really be able to see that. And it can go on 2 ways. I am going to be focusing the smoke and the depth in and around my lid area and pulled out. So I know oftentimes we put light on the lid, but it is okay to sometimes darken that up. And got my crazy hair today. And so you can take this up with your finger, which is usually what I do, but for those of you who don't like working with your fingers, you can go ahead and use a flat brush. This works just fine, and you can apply it with that as well and create sort of where you want the majority of your color to be. And I'm just darkening the entire lid, covering it completely, and just blending it to try to get a nice even application. Now I'm going to be doing a bit of an ombre eye where it's darker here and graduates out so that it flows, and it really is great for hooded eyes because you can adjust where things are moving and where the eyeshadow is placed. And so everybody's eye shapes are different. You guys can determine maybe what looks too heavy on your eye or what looks nice and bright. I get myself a little more centered. There we go. Okay, so a little bit of this on the lid to start, and I'm gonna focus in on this eye, and then I'll go and do the other eye off camera so it doesn't get too long. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take up a mid-tone eyeshadow here. These don't really have names, so just the middle one. You can see the tone, it's kind of a taupey color. All right, so you can pat that on just to get the initial bit on. So just pat it so it's got an initial layer, and then go in with a brush. I would just take a medium eyeshadow brush, something like this is just fine. Take up some more of that product, and basically what I'm doing right now is I'm putting layers down. It's not really adding a bunch of color, it's not doing too much, because the more eyeshadow layers you have, if it's cleanly done, the easier it is to blend. If your eyeshadow is good, you shouldn't have too much problems with fallout. I'm just going to grab my sponge in case. But in the event you do see anything fall, just clean it up under your eye. And so what we're going to do is start with that taupe color, and then we're going to start building, and then I'm going to build into this deeper brown. So we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. So this is number 2 because it's a little bit darker, and I'm going to build, and my focus is going to be a little bit darker on this outside V right here, so that I can also use this and manipulate the product in a lift and lift the eye up. At the end, I will touch up on the edges just to make sure it's clean. Okay, so now that I've taken that second color, I can go in between this one and a little touch of dark. So you can see me building the color up. I'm not plopping dark in there. So I'm building the color up a little bit more, putting it across the lid with the focus being on the outer corner, but it is across the lid. And you see there's very little blending involved when you build slowly. If I was to plop a bunch of color down, I'd have to keep blending and blending and blending. Now I'm going to go for 3/4 of the dark and just 1/4 of that, touch it on my hand so that I've got it nicely moved together. Keep building the depth. And this really makes an easy blend. The lighter you press on your eye, the easier it is to blend. Okay, and then if you're getting anything heavy in here, you can always take your sponge and just rub off the excess, like that. And then take a look at your work and see, okay, how are things looking? Are they muddy? Are they good? How's everything? I'm going to take a little bit of this lighter bone color in the pan here. It's kind of got a peachy tone to it, just to warm this a little bit, and put it underneath the bone. And it is matte as well. Okay, so this is looking groovy for now. And then what we're going to do is create a little bit of a eyeshadow eyeliner. Best way to explain it is you're creating more depth. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of water into my, hold on, I'll show you. I always have a little lid with water in it, something like that. And then I could put my brush inside the lid. And I'm just using this little detail brush right here. It is the Sigma E06 winged liner tip. And then I'm going to start in with the brown. I'm not going to go black right away. So I'm going to start in with this dark brown as my liner. I'm going to cover my brush in it. I pat it kind of back and forth. And then I touch it onto my hand so that it's pressed in nicely. And you can see you've made yourself a little paste. If it needs to be wetter, you can do that as well. The more color, more times you go in the powder, the more color payoff you get. You may not want this to be too dense at first, just so you can get used to it. And then what I'm going to do is, instead of going like pointy with the liner, I'm going to make it a little flatter, okay? So flatness makes it a lot easier for you to apply, and it's going to be quite thick. Okay, so you guys are getting the concept. You're building, you're going half, half, 3/4, 1/4. Then if you really want a lot of punch, you can go full out that one shade, and you won't have to worry about spending a half an hour trying to blend this hot mess. Just add in little tiny bits at a time and you'll get there. So when I start going in with the black, for example, I've got enough layers down where I can handle something like that. So in this particular case, I'm going to wet my brush again. I'm going to take my black eyeshadow for my eyeliner and just a little bit of brown so that it's a black brown and it's not too harsh at first. And that might be as far as you go with your color anyway, depending on how strong a line you want. So I'm putting it flat on my eye again, and I'm giving a shadow line. So it's not a harsh line. A lot of us, you know, when we get older, we don't want to have too harsh of a line. If you are finding that that line is not applying well for you, or it's not intense enough for you, or you want it to be smoother, you can also, as a trick, take a little bit of this cream eyeshadow or base and mix that down with your black eyeshadow. It's a wicked, wicked great trick, and you've made yourself a clean cream eyeliner just by doing that. And now I've got that beautiful black brown in a cream eyeliner, and I'm able to make this wonderful line out of it. And because of the cream now, I can also put it on my waterline, and it won't be dusting all in my eye, which is horrible. And I had some makeup on my fingers, so look what I did. That's fine, we'll just get it off. Watch my fingers. Okay, so looking up, I'm going to put a little of that cream eyeshadow and black mixed together in a paste and put it on my waterline. You can see that. And I can use that and smudge it down a little bit with all the same brush. Depending on how your inner corner is, you can decide whether you want to bring it in or not, depending on your own personal structure of face. But I recommend focusing most of it on your outer V here and lift so that everything is more flattering. And what you might want to do to just give it a nice soft hue underneath the eye is to take a smudge brush. I'm just going to find it here, and go back into your palette and take maybe this kind of rusty color and put that underneath the depth to smudge it down a little bit, but smudge it down with a color that's not too harsh. So now that brings the smokiness out a little bit more. And I'm going to go back and do my other eye, and I'll be right back to do lip. So the eyes are basically done. I can do a quick little cleanup on the ends later, and just to show you how to do that, what you guys can do is just take a little bit of concealer. You can dabble it on your hand, and then just take a little bit of your concealer onto your beauty blender or sponge or whatever you like. A brush is fine too, and just clean up the ends, make sure it's nice and neat. And that's how you do that. Really, really simple, hey? So when we're gonna do the lips, I've already done the previous lipstick before, so all I did, just so you know, for switching your lipstick, is I blotted my lips like on a tissue, and then I just put a little bit of powder over top because it was a neutral, and I'm going on with a stronger color. And actually that undercoating is going to really help my lipstick stay longer, because again, layers really help your lipstick to stick and to stay. So I'm going in with over with the pencil color Soar from MAC. Okay, So I'm just going to create a little touch of 3-dimension. The reason I'm not using a red lip liner is because I find when my lipstick comes off, I don't like how it leaves a red little rim stain around the lips, and a neutral color will be a lot more easy on the eyes as your lipstick wears off, and it also creates a little more depth in my lip. So we want this to stand out. It's a red lip, so you don't make your line way over the line, but you should push the border a little bit so that you've got a nice full lip. And when I'm lining my lip, I put it on the lip, and then I drag down where I want it, just a little as I go, dragging down a little as I go, instead of trying to draw the line initially, because usually your eyes make mistakes. So this way, you've got a little cushion. So as you're dragging your lip down, you can do it in minimal amounts. So that's my line, and then if I want to go in and detail and push the line, then you look and you can just make little tiny tweaks and adjustments. Get that kind of as good as you can, and you can always detail it later with a brush. This little Sigma brush, the one that I showed you earlier, it also can work as your lip line. So if you're trying to decide what brushes do I get, this little one can do the eyeliner, it can do the lip liner, it can do the eyebrows. So one brush can do many things. You don't have to get 500 brushes if you can't afford it. Okay. So we're going in with the really famous MAC red. This is 811. Now oftentimes with a red lip, I'll sit with it, go to the washroom a couple times, take looks in the mirror, and come back and double check it, because if I stare at it too long, easily your eyes can distort, and what you see to be even isn't. There's one side that's higher and stuff like that. So what? So you can fix it. Okay, I'm gonna go put my lashes on and do something to my hair. I might change my top. We'll see, and then I'll show you the final look. Do you guys like it? You can rock a red lip, you guys. Just go for it. You can always blot and put lip balm on, but put some color in there. Why not have a little fun? I bet you'll look fabulous. Okay, be right back. I'm having a hard time fitting this hair in the frame. You guys know, with photo shooting, I always want to create something that's a little bit of drama. So, boy, if this doesn't bring you back to the 80s, I don't know when will. But it is MAC, it is Smokey with red lip face, so I wanted something dramatic for the photo shoot. Would I go out like this? No, but photography is different. It's fantasy and you can play, and it is a blast. So if you're feeling blue and you're at home, make some big hair and some big red lips, and then go make your dinner. Go make your man some dinner or make yourself some dinner and have a really fun time with makeup and hair. And everything is to extremes with fashion and photography and so forth. So have a little fun and do a little photo shoot of yourself, because you can. And it is going to evoke something in you that is a little playful, a little bit fun. Then when you go out, if you have to go somewhere later, you know, you can just tone it down a little bit with the big hair and the craziness. But yeah, all I did was back home and put a few clips. I didn't curl it or anything. I got curly hair as it is. But I hope you like this crazy fun look where we did the smoky eye and the red lip, and I hope you rock it, because you can. All right, we'll see you real soon. Thanks for joining.